Coming into this match, the general feeling was that Liverpool, would score lots of goals, hammer Man United all over the place, win by a big margin, get 3 points, and extend their lead at the top of the table. Especially when you consider, the difference between both teams, where both teams were in the table, the general form, and the mood, around both clubs. And yet, for as bad as Man United have been for much of the season, if there was ever going to be one match where they would be up for it, where they would make it a fight, where they would give that that 100% effort, maybe 110%, 130, 20%, 130% effort. If ever there was one match where they were not going to just walk around or roll over and just lose, it would have been this one. Liverpool against Man United. And so, so on the one hand, while I too was hopeful, that Liverpool could hammer Man United, that Liverpool could score plenty of goals and just stroll to a win, somehow I was not surprised, when the match turned out the way it did. Man United turned up. They were prepared for a fight. They were prepared to make it physical. They were prepared to sit deep when they had to, absorb pressure, defend with numbers. I think they played. With a back five. They minimized the space. They minimized the space, between the defenders. They never really allowed Liverpool, much space to try and work anything, and that's fair enough, right? You defend the way you have to. And for the first half, like again, off the ball, like I said, Man United were prepared to defend. They defended in numbers. They kept their shape well, and even in situations where they were caught out of shape, their players ran back quickly, to get back into the shape. Whether it's a 5-3-2 or 5-4-1, they were always back there. And on the ball, Man United, they took their time. They played simple passes. They kept possession. If anything, it felt like they were trying to take the sting out of the game already, right from the start. Try to take the sting out of it. Try to take, the pace out of the game. Try and take, the ferocity out of the game. That's what it felt like. Liverpool, Liverpool had some good chances in and around the first 10 minutes or so. I believe, Gakpo had a good chance that he hit with the outside of his right foot that went just wide. McAllister had that very good chance that was set up by Salah, but the goalkeeper saved it, and that was all within the first 10 minutes. But after that, I can't really recall Liverpool doing anything of note for the rest of the first half. It was a very scrappy match, very physical. Man United brought a lot of physicality and energy and tenacity into this match, and it was definitely visible in midfield. And the number of times, they kept, just tackling and almost like fighting and biting for the ball. If they couldn't get it on the first tackle, they would just kick and tackle and kick and tackle and kick and tackle until they either got the ball or gave away a foul. And it was up to Liverpool to try and match that physical, that physicality, try and match that physical energy, that tenacity. And I just feel like in this first half, for the most part, they failed. I really feel that way. The number of times that there's a 50-50, it felt like Liverpool were coming off second best. The number of times that a Liverpool player would have the ball and somehow they just get bullied off it, by a Man United player, or surrounded by 2-3 players, whatever it took for them to get the ball back, and they went and did. And the number of times, someone from the Liverpool defense or in the midfield, they pass the ball forward, and the Man United defender or whatever, it would just nip in from behind, and and just come from behind, step forward and intercept the pass. It's like the midfielders couldn't hold off anyone or beat anyone to the ball or to keep the ball, and the forwards couldn't really seem to hold off anyone to try and receive the ball. And yeah, and so at the same time, while Liverpool did have chances, Man United did as well. A couple of times they beat the offside trap. Alisson had to make some really big saves. Then in the second half, that's where it seemed like where everything just happened. So Man United get the first goal, right? Man United, they have a bit of a sustained period of of pressure attacking Liverpool. Liverpool are trying to clear their lines, trying to pass the ball out, but time and time again, the pass is either intercepted or whoever was the intended recipient of the pass can't seem to hold off his defender properly, enough to receive the pass. The defender just sort of shrugs off whoever he was marking, and just intercepts the pass. And that was sort of how that first goal came about. So Alexander-Arnold, and more on him later, he's got a ball. I think he's trying to play it to Salah or whatever. So Salah is there, he wants to receive the pass, but whoever it was that was marking him and defending him, just steps in, intercepts the pass. And a couple of passes here and there later, suddenly just just one pass, one very well measured pass forward for Martinez it was. And Martinez just a shot hits the underside of the crossbar and it's 1-0. But thankfully Liverpool, they responded quite fast. And okay, the goal that Liverpool scored, it really started from what? I think it was had been a set piece, half cleared. The second ball comes back in, and Gakpo, very nice bit of skill, a bit of a feint, a chopping in from his left side, sent the defender sliding off, and that was very confident play from Gakpo. First, the feint, the movement, and then that shot that flew into the the far top corner. And when I see that goal, it sort of reminded me of Fernando Torres in his prime. And that a number of times when he scored goals like that, from that kind of position and then high into the corner, that was very nice. Again, this match as a whole, it was never really going to be much in the way of slick, smooth passing football, one touch, two touch, combination passes kind of thing. Not with the way Man United set up, not with the way Man United defended. They weren't going to let that happen, and that's fair enough. Again, it was always going to be scrappy. It was always going to be a fight. It was always going to be physical, and Liverpool, had to find a way to match that kind of physicality and energy. So the two goals, one came off sort of like from the second ball after a set piece, and then the second goal, again, the ball swings in, the ball is crossed in, a header here and a header there, and then a handball by the Man United defender. Initially it was not given, but VAR intervened. The handball, so the handball was penalized. The penalty was given, and Salah scored it. And again, Salah delivered. It was a pressure penalty at the time, 1-1. To take the lead for the 2-1 pressure penalty. The Man United goalkeeper did guess the right way. He went the right way, but just too much power on the penalty, right into the corner. It just sort of just beyond the goalkeeper's reach. That was very nice. And then that 2-2 goal. It's just, and again, that one player who was involved, or I guess technically not involved, conspicuous by his lack of involvement. Again, Alexander-Arnold just standing around and watching the ball go by. As Man United attack down their left wing, the cross comes in. I think the cross went through Konate's legs. It was behind Van Dijk, and and Robertson, he was not able to get the cross on time. So the Man United player Diallo, it was Ahmad Diallo, he was in there, and once again, the kind of situation where it seemed like a Liverpool player should be able to get to the ball first, the Man United player shows more desire to get to the ball, and he just nipped in just ahead of Robertson. He takes that shot low through Robertson's legs, just out of Alisson's reach for the 2-2. Yeah, and just overall, it feels really, really deflating, really, really frustrating. The way the match panned out, and the way it feels like 2 points were thrown away. The draw itself, is disappointing, especially in light of what had happened, the previous day in terms of the other matches. And this would have been a really, really good chance to extend the lead at the top of the table. But then, as it were, with this draw, so as it is now, it's 6 points ahead of Arsenal, who are in second. But I think something that definitely needs to be mentioned, definitely is Alexander-Arnold. And this match especially, yes, Man United were very physical in this match. They brought a lot of energy and tenacity. And yes, there were a number of players in the Liverpool team who failed to meet that level of physicality and the physical challenge that this match put forth. Some of the midfielders weren't able to match physicality, but yet even then, it just feels like no one seemed any worse than Alexander-Arnold. At times he seemed just completely disinterested, and for both goals it was that way. The first goal, as it happened, he just stood around and walked. He stood around and walked and watched as everything unfolded around him. He didn't even look like he was in shape to try and jockey whoever it was on the ball, to try and shepherd him into this direction or that direction. He didn't look like he was in shape to try and make a tackle. He didn't look like he was in shape to try and intercept a pass or whatever. Everything happened around him, and he just stood there, strolling and watching, and just watched as the player and the ball go past him, for the initial 1-0. Then for the second goal, again, him just standing around. He's not pressing anyone, and he's not cutting off any kind of passing lane. He's definitely not marking any potential pass recipient either. The pass just went through him, to the player on the left wing, all the way down. And as mentioned, once that happened, he was completely taken out of the equation, and he was basically never seen again for the rest of that situation until the goal happened. And then the number of times that he gave the ball away. The number of times he gave the ball away, and which allowed Man United to launch another attack, or just steady themselves and stuff like that. And the thing is, throughout the years, especially since Alexander-Arnold first broke into the first team and he established himself as the first choice right back, even back then, there were people who pointed out his defensive deficiencies, his lack of defensive awareness. And at the time, the counter argument was that he was still young, he was still 19, 20 years old, that he would eventually improve in his in his defensive awareness and his defensive application. But somehow it just felt like as the years went on, it didn't. Then in the counter argument then shifted to his offensive contributions outweighed his defensive deficiencies, which in a way was true. At the time, he was always like a very dangerous outlet. His assists, his crosses, and yes, it is true. It is true that very few players are as good on the ball as he is. Very few players have the kind of passing vision, passing range, and passing technique that he has. Very few players in the world can rival it. Sometimes there's a lot of just crazy looking passes, and people you would say, only Alexander Arnold could do that. Yes, so yes, it's true. Throughout the several years, he's had a lot of these moments like that of just passing and crossing brilliance and vision on the offensive side of things. But somehow this year, and maybe in the recent last year and a half, maybe 2.5, I don't know. It's starting to feel more and more like his offensive contributions are no longer outweighing his defensive deficiencies. At this point, it's starting to feel maybe like break even, or maybe even starting to feel like his defensive deficiencies are outweighing his offensive contributions. It is starting to feel like that. It really is. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it's just the disappointment speaking. But it just cannot be denied. That whenever Liverpool concede a goal, for a lot of the times, it stems from Alexander Arnold not being switched on, the attack coming down his side, and him either not noticing a cross or not noticing a pass, and just not doing what he needs to stop it. And this match in particular, it feels like almost like the nadir of everything, of like a nadir of negative things that are said about him. Not only was he again caught out of position or caught unawares or whatever, but again his body language, he felt completely and utterly disinterested in engaging in defensive situations. Again, that first goal, just standing and watching. He wasn't even trying to defend. He wasn't trying to defend the space. He wasn't trying to mark a player. He wasn't trying to press the ball. He wasn't trying to cut off a passing avenue or whatever. He wasn't trying to do anything. And it is really, really disappointing because Alexander Arnold, he's a boyhood Liverpool Red, right? He's from Liverpool, born and bred, grew up there, Liverpool Academy, an academy graduate who established himself in the team, and is widely recognized as one of the best right backs in the world. And there was a lot of genuine hope, that he could be something. He'd be like a one club man. He'll captain his team to to trophies and glories and that kind of thing. There was I do believe that there were really, really very high hopes that that his career could pan out this way, and I was also hopeful. I was hopeful of seeing him spend his whole career at Liverpool, to be a cornerstone of Liverpool's success, to be a cornerstone, of triumphant seasons, winning trophies. He's won huge trophies. He's won the Champions League. He's won the Premier League, and again, a very important key player in those victories. But somehow it feels like a lot of it has just come crashing down. It doesn't help that with him on the final year of his contract, then of course all the rumors and talk about him going to Real Madrid, whether it's leaving in January or leaving in the summer, will he stay? Will he go? Will he sign a new contract? All that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff. A lot of the rumors and gossip and stuff like that. And yet, this putting aside all that kind of rumor talk and paper talk, but just again seeing his body language and his behavior, his behavior in this match, it feels pathetic. It really does. When just seeing the way he was, I don't know, playing, you want to call it that, or not playing, it almost and the number of times especially in the match, the camera was was on Van Dijk, and Van Dijk was just absolutely raging. I think Van Dijk probably was screaming at him again and again and again. And think about it. The captain is screaming at you to be mentally switched on and to engage in defensive situations to help the team defend. And yet, despite all that screaming and the yelling and telling him what to do, he seemed disinterested in engaging. So just right now, if it's like if this is how it's going to be for him, I think there's probably going to be a lot of people who will just just shrug their shoulders and say, yeah, sure, good riddance. If that's how it is, he can go. We've got Bradley, right? That's the kind of feeling it is, and like the kind of feeling I get also. Like right now, this might be the disappointment speaking. You would think that you see Salah, right? He really wants a contract extension. He really wants to stay, and he's putting up tremendous numbers, trying to drag Liverpool to another league title victory, and hopefully still be able to get a contract for another couple more years yet. So up front you've got a Salah who is doing everything he can to help Liverpool win. And then at the back, you've got one Alexander-Arnold who just seems unbothered and disinterested. And it's just really disappointing. Now, just another word on Man United. To their credit, again, I said that they brought a lot of midfield energy. They brought physicality. They brought tenacity to this match. And the thing is, as bad as they have been through most of the season, it didn't look that way, when watching this match. If this one match alone, was the sole reference point for how good or how bad Man United are, one would think, how could they possibly be in 14th place in the table if they are playing like that? And so yes, for me, as a Liverpool fan, I find it really annoying that other teams seem capable of beating Man United, rather smoothly and easily. It wasn't all that long ago that, Bournemouth won 3-0 at Old Trafford, Newcastle won 2-0 at Old Trafford. They had these wins, and then Liverpool are somehow struggling to draw. But again, if ever there's one match where Man United want to show up, and really turn it into a fight, it would be this match. Now, having said all of that, I think taking a step back, something that should not be forgotten is that Liverpool are still top of the table. Liverpool are still leading by 6 points. Okay, so just a quick look at the league table. Yes, Liverpool 6 points ahead of Arsenal, 10 points ahead of Chelsea, 12 points ahead of Man City, and Liverpool do still have that game in hand over all three of them. So ahead of ahead of 6 points ahead of Arsenal, 10 points ahead of Chelsea. Both these two teams were sort of expected to be title contenders over the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, expected to challenge Liverpool. They are that far behind, and Man City, again the reigning champions, and at the start of the season, favorites and expected to retain the title again. 12 points off Liverpool, and at this stage in the season, okay, 12 points behind, potentially 15. Maybe, just maybe, Man City could kinda be written off in the title race, maybe. But yeah, it shouldn't be forgotten that Liverpool are still in the lead by what is by all measures a rather decent margin. So as long as Liverpool just keep playing well, you know, as long as Liverpool keep playing well, they they do their best in the remaining half of the season. At least they're not playing Man United again. Yeah, I think as long as Liverpool just keep playing well and just don't make those kind of silly defensive mistakes again, hopefully all will be well, and hopefully there will be at least a trophy by the end of the season.